guys? This is Jimmy Retro, and I know it's a little late for this, but I did promise you guys a Power Rangers review, right? So it's only natural that I stick to being a man of my word. And so today, I'm just going to do a spoiler review and how the movie compares to the show. So without further ado, let's begin. To start off, the there was a new Power Rangers movie released by last week by some Indian guy in association with Lionsgate and stuff. It's based on the old 90s series and its older Super Sentai counterpart from the 70s, which the older one would merge into the latter. So, anyways, the movie starts 65 million years ago, just around the extinction of the dinosaurs. And you see corpses of dead Power Rangers before them, and you see a Green Ranger. Green Ranger is revealed to be the long arch nemesis of one of the Rangers, Rita. And the original Red Ranger was Zordon. Yep, the Zordon, the one, whose head was on the screen in the original show. Nowadays, his appearance is now basically a bunch of pixels on a giant flat screen. And that was the difference, number one, between the movie and the show, just so you know. And so the movie starts off not like a Power Ranger movie, but more like a really lame teen prank movie. Because you see, it opens with a prank at a local high school where there's a cow in a locker room and there's a football star trying to escape the cops, but ends up rolling his truck over. He survives, but he is suspended for the rest of the season from the football team, and he's on probation. So now he's stuck in Saturday school. And at the same time, me standing up for a black kid. Yes, a black kid. Not to sound racist, okay? And at the same time, there was this girl who also walked in, used a restroom, and only to find out that her friends are dumping her and moving on without her. And so they leave her scissors. She was considering suicide at first, but then she decided to cut her hair off instead. And so she got the attraction of many of the students, So the film takes place in the same place as the old TV show, Angel Grove, California. But I think it's more Central California than Northern or Southern, because it's really far away from San Francisco or Los Angeles by any standards. But we can see that it's close to the Bay. Right after class, the same kid he stood up for introduces himself as Billy Cranston and invites him to his place. But football star can't do it because of his probation team and his 7 o'clock curfew. But ends up giving him, since Cranston said he had a little device that can make him manipulate the probation chip. So he decides to think about it and decides to go on his bike at high speeds. And while there, he sees all that he was seen to. Billy was a techno geek. It's shown in the show, and it's also shown in the movie. So only a few seconds to spare. His probation was clicked out, and also included in the deal was the part he could take out his van and drive for a couple hours. So he and Billy resolved to take it up to the Locked Mountain, where Billy is said to have kept a chest of tools, saying that he was looking for a treasure or something. And, well, treasure is kind of awkward and unusual too, since it was from 65 million years ago. So, in the end, the football star gets tired and decides to go back, but he regrets his decision, decides to go back and see if Billy was in trouble. And there's a little fan service when you see someone skinny dip in the river. Originally confusing it to be suicide, Eden gets fooled. And so, he resumes his hunt for Billy while an Asian kid sitting in a caboose on top of the mountain is eating some lunch and he sees some weird girl on the mountain. He says the third time this week. And so, while the two are looking for Billy, the Asian kid just scouts her and sees what's happening. So after he finds Billy, he discovers that the dynamite that he blew up actually hit some kind of treasure. And then the football star just starts chipping away, while the Asian kid just wants to see if he could sell it for motives unknown until later in the movie. And all he sees are 4 coins. 1 blue, 1 red, 1 purple, and 1 black. Which is difference number 2, by the way. And as you can see, in the original TV show there are 6 coins, each representing a Zord. While in the movie there's like only 4 coins and they're crystallized. I actually kind of like the new updated design, because we all knew this movie was going to be different than the original show. So yeah, but just as they discover it, the cops show up and he has to escape. So he has to take Billy and the other 4 kids that they encountered back to town. But as they were chasing it, they got hit by a runaway train, which is supposed to have them all killed, but surprisingly the football star wakes up in bed. He was surprised that he was still alive, because that crash should have killed him. And across town, Billy wakes up as well, and he's surprised to actually peel off the door with his one hand and get a scolding from his mother. So the two meet up, and they explain how awkward it felt, especially since those 4 coins that they carried with them had some properties of their own, like incinerating the high school lunch line. And so after school, they met up and started to discover they had awkward, insane powers, like running at faster speeds, jumping, climbing with ease. And just as they were doing jumping, Billy tries to get over it, and he does, but he falls back. Everyone fears him that he was dead, but he claims that he was still alive and he found a hidden place. So they head down there, and they see a water wall blocking the way to a secret grotto, where they enter into an alien spaceship lair. And that spaceship lair was actually the place where Zordon and his new sidekick, Alpha 8, were living there for 65 million years. And that's difference number 3. In the original show, Alpha 8 was more robotic, more like R2-D2 and stuff. But in this movie, he looks more alien-like and more organic. And voiced by Patton Oswalt too, I think. And so, Zordon thinks that those 5 were the ones that were destined to be the new Power Rangers, and so he takes them to morph, but they fail to do so. So he takes them to the pit, which is where they do most of their training. Anyway, while they do that, you know in the beginning how a woman kills Zordon because of her lust for power? Well, a fisherman trawler has picked up her mummified remains off the coast, and he contacted the cops about it and how it stunk. And just as he saw what it was, it came alive and mauled him to death, seeking gold. And then she came ashore and practically devoured a homeless guy for his gold fillings. Well, that was Rita Repulsa in her new design, which is difference number 4. In difference number 4, in the TV show, she looked all garbed alike and all that. But, and instead of spending 10,000 years, she spent 65 million years underwater. And she looks sleeker and more powerful, not to mention more alluring for those fan-servicing Power Rangers. But, if anyone saw the trailer, she said that she'd killed Rangers before. So, it is revealed that she does kill the original Power Rangers, but Zordon, as he kills himself, intending to drag Rita down with him. And she goes on a rampage, trying to find gold, eventually invading a cash for gold store, where she seeks gold to put in her staff, which is difference number 5. So, difference number 5, like in the original TV show, his staff was just a big stick with a ring and a red thing based on it. In the movie, though, it looks more like a scepter, like a magic rod that grows bigger when gold is absorbed, and in the middle there's a green gem of some sort, which could explain that it's the green stone and the green armor that she has on her, even though she does look a little fan-servicey. So, while she was rampaging all throughout town, the Zordon starts tasking the heroes in a command center, which is difference number 7. And that's when, in the original show, it looked all Star Trek-y. It looked like you were in a guilt trip. But in the movie, it looks more like the Fortress of Solitude from Man of Steel, with the exception of Zordon just being a giant mass of crystals and not a severed head. And so he believes the new trainers that they're failures in their scanning. They couldn't do much, so they couldn't even morph, much less learn new techniques. So then the one destined to be the Red Ranger starts fighting with the one destined to be a Black Ranger, but suddenly Billy intervenes and everyone looks in awe, as if something has happened, and you see that he has morphed into a Power Ranger suit. Now, we don't see very much at the beginning, so I'll save the Power Ranger suit difference for later, but instead, he doesn't know how he morphed, and everyone keeps asking him that, and Zordon asks him to leave. They say that Billy is morphed, and they say he wanted proof, but he couldn't prove it because he doesn't know how he morphed. So they left. And later in the end, the Asian guy decides to build a little campfire, which all 5 people decide to go. Now this here is like where the subject of diversity kicks in, because that's where a moment where they tell all their secrets. The Asian guy has a sick mother whom he deeply cares about and fears that if she dies, he'll be all left alone in this world. he doesn't want her to go that soon. And and Billy reveals how he became a nerd, how he was in detention. Basically, he blew up a lunchbox for some reason. He was a scapegoat. And for the football star, well, everybody knew him, so. But for one of the girls, she decided to keep her secret still secret. But the other girl, she had a little story about how her family expects her to be normal, be with some friends that she liked. She transferred between 3 schools in 3 years. She kind of likes it that way. So, that's all she told. But she questions their friendship, or if they really were friends or if they were acquaintances. So, later that night comes the true part of the action. So, basically, a con of this movie was that the action doesn't tore in until like the later half of the movie. It all starts when Rita somehow assaults the yellow one in her room while sleeping at night, taunting her about how the previous Yellow Ranger joined her to the dark side. Get Star Wars reference. But she tries to fight back, but Rita overpowers her, which leads to a very difficult situation. She, however, escapes. Meanwhile, the football star was asleep in his room when the girl who cut her hair short somehow sneaked into the room via the bedroom window and tells her how she posted a humiliating picture of one of her friends and how it went viral after a few days. She immediately regretted it and doesn't want to do the same again. However, at the same time, he gets a warning about how Rita's invading the pier. So they meet up at the stadium, and the soon-to-be Red Ranger proposes that they all go over there and end this once and for all. So they get some makeshift weapons and head to the docks. But literally, they walk right into Rita's trap, and she interrogates it on where is the crystal. Well, the crystal is this thing of power that every life form planet has. In this case, Earth has one, and it is revealed that Zardon hid it 65 million years ago. And so, they try to find out where, but Billy ends up sacrificing himself, telling her that the Krispy Kreme donuts. And Rita, though being 65 million years old, doesn't know what a Krispy Kreme is, so she decides to... Oh, sleepy. She decides to find it in the morning, not before drowning Billy in the icy water. And the least they could do is bring his body back to the command center. Or should I say the command center of solitude. So, right as when they turn it in, the Matrix starts to react, and Alpha 8 urges Zardon to escape, but he doesn't. Instead, he gave Billy a second chance to come back. So, after what Billy had done for them, they decide to morph once again. And this time they do it right. And as you can see in the image here, there's difference number 8, the suits. Now, as you know, the original 5, Red Ranger, Black Ranger, Yellow Ranger, Purple Ranger, and Blue Ranger. In the show, they all look like cheap rubber latex suits. However, in the movie, it was designed to be more robotic and futuristic. It's like Iron Man, only tamed shorter. However, one thing that kind of disturbs is the fact that they have mouths that don't move, which is something not seen in the original show. And the one thing that sucks is that they turn into Rangers at the last 30 minutes of the movie. They don't even test drive a Megazord. You know, Black Ranger did that with a Triceratops. But the Zords, they look pretty cool. And as you know, in the original TV show, there were 5 Zords. Red Ranger has a T-Rex, Purple Ranger has a Pteranodon, Yellow Ranger has a Mastodon, Blue Ranger had a Triceratops, and Black Ranger had, I forgot, I think it was a mammoth of some sort. Oh yeah. Well, he test drove it. Figures he was not ready, but after what happened, they were ready. And that was confirmed after they saw a horrifying vision of Rita destroying Angel Grove, bodies turning into stone, sky turns green, and she just slowly walks toward the Ranger and kills him. So they try to stop it. And Rita sends these minions called Putty Patrollers. In the original show, as I told you, they all had cheap suits with lame masks. But in the movie, they're all like naturalistic. They're like created from the earth. They actually look pretty menacing. They look like live trees. But yeah. So the Power Rangers train against those. And I think I've ignored saying difference 8 and 9. So bear with me here. So this is where the final battle begins, as Rita searches for the Krispy Kreme, using her ultimate staffed minion, Goldar. Now, that's difference number 11, I believe, so. In the TV show, Goldar was basically a giant simian ape with Aztec jewelry all over himself. But in the movie, they do keep the golden armor, but there's no ape stuff. It looks more like an avian mix between a Pteranodon and the hawk. So, but he was actually not that bad. He was shown to be stomping on people and showing no remorse. So, as Rita continues her quest searching for Krispy Kreme donuts, she finally finds it and decides to try out a donut while Goldar destroys the establishment. Cheeky. But one of my problems with this movie is that there's not enough Power Ranger action, not like inside a Roblox, because there's more than enough action for that, but like original Rangers, hand-to-hand combat. There's not enough action for that. So, yeah. In the midst of that, the Red Ranger's father was looking for him, and when he sees him injured because Goldar flipped him over, he decides to abandon his post and run to his rescue and drag him to a safe place. So do the Red Rangers. And so he goes back into battle. And once they apparently defeat Rita, it's not done yet. as it is shown that she morphs with Goldar to create an even bigger monster. And and the ultimate transformation shows her become sentient. And in comparison, as she pushes the Zords down towards that fiery lava pit where the crystal is, they try to stand their ground but fail to do so, and they get pushed over. And so they all think it was their last moments, but at the very last moment of that, ironically, they fused to form, I believe, one of the best Megazord incarnations I've ever seen. The only problem about Megazord, though, he has only like 3 minutes of screen time. But seriously, I remember when fans in the theater just screamed that it was the Megazord. There was even a joke about it by Blue Ranger saying, it's Mamazord. No, it's more like a Megazord. I like the realistic version of the thing, even though TV show looked a little more robotic and had a face. So, but still, he was really recognizable, and he was about I don't know, 50 meters tall or something like that. But he Megazord, the Rangers like new to the whole Megazord thing, so they don't know how to control it. So they try punching it, and then the leg people then try to kick it, which results in an ultimate combo, and they start punching it and punching it, and until the end they force Rita out of Goldar, and he was declaring her vow of revenge. He just slaps her out to space. Kind of reminiscent of a scene in the beginning where the football star slaps the bully that harassed Billy in the first place. And he just says, "Do you just slap him?" And so, in outer space, she freezes, and either is left to die or travel for 10,000 years. And the one thing that people do right after disaster strikes, let me take a selfie. Seriously. I mean, back in the old days, people would just run for their lives, not caring if they were going to be on the news or be popular or not. They just wanted to live. Nowadays, people just want to be popular with their selfie sticks. And it was proven in the Power Rangers movie, where you see a lot of people posing with Megazord or posing at the final battle. But here's the question. People were asking whether they were heroes or vigilantes. So, at the end, they dropped off all their power rings, and Red Ranger says they'll be back next time, which is leaving open ideas for a sequel in the works. And that would be even more implied in a post-credit scene where the detention teacher is looking for Tommy Oliver. He keeps asking his name over and over again until you see a locker room blasting, and you hear a familiar voice saying, "My bad, sorry," which is implied that there might be a sequel in the future. Could there be, or could there not be? Well, if you think there should be, please just comment below and see how it would look like, and also comment below to see how many differences I counted from the original show to the movie. And please correct me if I was wrong in a few differences are there. And also, please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe, because come Saturday, I heard S.KullRandom is planning some sweet mashup of 3 things. Even I don't know what they are. He's keeping it a secret. So if you want to know, subscribe to this channel, follow the past videos that me, S.KullRandom, no, I'm not S.KullRandom, so me, Jamie Retro, S.KullRandom, Andy Chungwa posted. Give them likes, comment them as well. And till then, I'll see you guys next time.